The dome is buzzing. There's a belief around this program. Why?
It's just coming back. It's something that's been here for a long time, and you know history repeats itself. So we're just trying to do what we saw before in the past. Players appreciate our fans, our community, and it's becoming fun.
You're very active with the defense. What's the next step for this unit tonight?
Just got fun. They got to play all the way through. That's our next step. Just being able to put it all together, be able to play complementary football, help the offense as much as we possibly can.
Thank you, Coach.
Be safe.
The Syracuse defense will have its hands full with Alec Manor, who on a Friday night against Colorado last year had one of the best games by a wide receiver in college football.
Yeah, he just flat went off. 13 catches, 294 yards in that game, and in that secondary was Travis Hunter. So you look at what he's able to do, the size, the athletic ability. He is a tremendous talent that will definitely play on Sundays.
All of his production in that game against Colorado, where Stanford rallied from 29-0 down to win, all of the production came in the second half. Stanford won the toss, and they choose to receive, so Syracuse will kick off.
Well, that was tripping. The orange lights, you could barely see, but all of a sudden it's nice and bright in here.
Artificial vitamin D gets us going on a Friday night in the Salt City. Syracuse kicks it away, and Tiger Bachmeier lets it bounce out of the end zone. First look at the Stanford offense. Their quarterback, Ashton Daniels, he's from ACC country, technically, right outside of Atlanta. Family gets to see him with a short drive next week when Stanford plays at Clemson. This guy can run, and quarterback run is a big part of this offense.
He's a winner in his own right. 3 state championships. As a game's MVP, he's a solid passer when given time. We know what he can do when he pulls it down and to make plays with his legs. But man, can he spin the football if the offensive line's able to hold up.
True freshman running back Micah Ford makes his 3rd straight start for Stanford. And on first down, Daniels using play action and completes to Manor. We called his name just a few moments ago. Daniels calls his number on the first play.
Yeah, first play, first reception, and they're going to go to that matchup a lot. Marcellus Barnes Jr., he is going to get worked tonight, so you've got to have a short memory as a corner.
There's the quarterback run, and the tackle made by Deuce Chestnut, the safety. We take a look at impact players built by the Home Depot.
Well, you mentioned Alec Manor on the outside, already a reception in this game. The other guy on the other side, Tiger Bachmeier, is a talented receiver in his own right and an excellent outside edge rusher. Fidel Diggs, number 10. They will move him around. They'll put his hand in the dirt or on the turf, but he'll also stand up in the middle of their defense just so they can give him the ability to rush the passer from a lot of different angles, and already a false start here for this Stanford offense.
It's still second down.
Those are the penalties that Troy Taylor told us about in our meeting with him yesterday, that, hey, we can't hurt ourselves before the ball is snapped. Effort penalties, we can live with those, but the pre-snap penalties, especially coming way across the country where they traveled in here a day early.
I got here Wednesday. That's going to be the plan for Stanford all season. They have 4 games in the Eastern time zone. Daniels, quarterback keeper, breaks the first tackle and then drags a couple for a gain of a yard. Brings up 3rd down and 9. This offensive line, a big question mark for Stanford. It got reshuffled after week 1.
Yeah, Sparrow was there, but he was unable to get Daniels on the turf. You arrive, you've got to make sure you wrap up on this on Ashton Daniels. He's a tremendous runner that we talked about, over just under 120 yards on the season in the first two games of Stanford's year.
Here comes the blitz. Daniels to Bachmeier, broken up, incomplete. It's 4th down. Marcellus Barnes, the talented true freshman who had offers from some of the biggest schools in the country.
Yeah, looks like he may travel with Manor. I mean, he was on the left side of the formation to start the game. They gave up a completion, and then they move him to the other side, and he makes a nice play on the football there. True freshman from Chattanooga, Tennessee, highly recruited, played in the high school All-American Bowl.
Aiden Flintoft kicks it away. Fair catch called for and made by Trevor Pena at the 16-yard line.
Syracuse passing the first test defensively. They've got plenty on offense, and it's Kyle McCord who has just wowed me this week in watching video of him. He makes NFL throws, anticipates well, layers the ball. He's got an accurate arm, a strong arm when he needs to drill it in the coverage, and man, he can make some nice throws.
He might be the best quarterback this program has had since Donovan McNabb. Ryan Nassib was a draft pick of the Giants. That's the only quarterback Syracuse has had drafted in the last 25 years. And he completes on first down to Oronde Gadsden, the tight end, who is the biggest passing threat, the biggest receiving threat in this offense.
Yeah, he's a pro. Just a redshirt junior. Had a Liz Frank injury last year that kept him out basically all year long, but he is back and he's healthy and catching touchdown passes, 3 of them already this year.
A 2 tight end set here, and Syracuse has been able to manipulate these personnel groupings. Quint Allen machetes across the 30, tackled by Colin Wright, Stanford's best corner, a gain of 6. Impact players when Syracuse has the football, Andre.
Yeah, when Syracuse has it, Trevor Pena is a tough receiver that'll go over the middle already. Oronde Gadsden has made a catch, and then on the other side, Bernadelle, the linebacker, right in the middle of Stanford's defense. He is a playmaker and a sideline-to-sideline type of linebacker.
Play action. Gadsden open, to reach back for it, and it's 3rd down.
You don't see that much from Kyle McCord. He's completing over 69% of his passes. And, you know, hey, I'm talking all types of NFL types before the game, and they're in agreement. They think he's a next level player. He has come here, and they have found the combination to unlock Kyle McCord. And he is playing as well as any quarterback in the country. He's the best I've laid eyes on so far this season. That's just film study and guys that we've covered to this point in the year.
Stanford rushing 3, a shot downfield, incomplete, broken up, intended for Umari Hatcher, and it's Ron Manley in coverage, the 6th-year senior.
Yeah, he's got great size. His graduate year, he was shaken up in the TCU game, but he just continues to improve. The outside times things just right. Ball's there on time, and everything that was thrown to Hatcher against Georgia Tech, he caught. Not tonight.
Jack Stonehouse the punt. Tiger Bachmeier, who took one back last week, or rather 2 weeks ago, the last game for Stanford, signals for the fair catch. Both teams punt on their first possession. Cardinal ball on the other side. Founded as the Pacific Coast Conference back in 1915. Stanford joined in 1918. A century plus playing in one of the iconic leagues in all of college football, and then a realignment happens in the offseason. The Big Ten siphons away 4, the Big 12 siphons away 4. Cal and Stanford to the ACC, and Oregon State and Washington State currently the only 2 members of the Pac-12, but they'll be joined in 2026 by Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, and San Diego State, a conference essentially trying to rebrand with schools from the Mountain West now.
And I'm just wondering how many you're going to actually get, and it's going to destroy the Mountain West at some point. You got to go find schools if you're going to remain alive. Stanford seems to have an idea of how they're going to travel when they have to come east. We mentioned it coming in a day early.
Took a long time to break the huddle and just get the snap off. Michael Ford, the true freshman from Toms River, New Jersey, able to move the chains.
He knows these parts, right? Very versatile back. Good pass protection.
Player down, that's the cornerback, Marcellus Barnes, true freshman out of Chattanooga. With the injury, we take a timeout with 10:30 to go in this opening quarter.
Is presented by Ram Trucks, built to serve, and in part by Taco Bell.
Some pretty good quarterbacks have played for the Stanford Cardinal. Plunkett, Elway, Luck, throw John Brody in there. It's Ashton Daniels.
Really good quarterbacks. Anybody throw it any harder than John Elway? He may have had to, he might go down as the guy with the strongest arm in the history of the game. Man, could he sling it.
Heck of a baseball player, too.
Jaden Bellamy in for Marcellus Barnes Jr.
Daniels takes a shot. Io Manor beat his man. Overthrown. Bellamy in coverage. So Bellamy comes in for Barnes, and they pick on him
right on him because he's new into the game, been standing on the sideline. But here's the injury by Barnes Jr. and just kind of his neck in there. I don't know if it's neck, shoulder, but you do not want your neck bending in that manner.
Couple of pieces missing for Syracuse defensively. Their best player, Marlo Wax, suffered a lower leg injury week 1 against Ohio. He'll be out until at least the middle of next month. And no Tank Wilson tonight. Lower body is one of the D tackles. Ishmael Cece, good-looking sophomore out of Denver, Colorado, who's had touchdowns in back-to-back games.
Well, we talk a lot about Alec Iomanor, but that play doesn't go without his block. We may go back and take a look at that when Stanford slows down a little bit. But I mean, just the unselfish play to get his fellow receiver open.
Diggs in as a spy. Daniels slings it across the middle, and he finds his big tight end, the junior from Nashville, Sam Roush.
A super tough all-around tight end. He's excellent in the passing game, but the eyes of the youngster, Daniels, looking one way, coverage rotating, and he's coming back to his tight end, who's on the Mackey list as one of the top tight ends in the country.
And they've had some pretty good tight ends come out of Stanford.
Oh, yeah. Quarterbacks, tight ends, you can find them in Stanford, and pretty good offensive linemen, too.
8 tight ends drafted out of Stanford since 2010. Daniels pumps. Pressure from the middle. He's got room to run. A lot of room. And another first down and a good-looking drive for Stanford.
This has been a nice job here in terms of play calling by Troy Taylor, their head coach slash offensive coordinator, mixing the run with a pass. It started with Micah Ford, and then tunnel screen, a big run by the quarterback, Ashton Daniels, who's got them down inside the red zone. 9 of 11 in the red zone trips this year, 7 touchdowns, 2 field goals.
And their quarterback run becomes even a bigger factor. There it is, using Ford as the lead blocker. And Daniels turns the corner for a nice pickup on first down.
He is strong, isn't he? We've seen him break a couple of tackles here early in this ball game. It looked as though Sparrow had him backed up or tackled earlier. He came out of that for a gain, and then there it looked like he was going to be wrapped up right around the line of scrimmage, and he turns it into a 6-yard gain to move the stick. 2nd down and 4. Very manageable for this Stanford offense. You have the entire playbook at your disposal here.
CC is the slot man, Ford the running back. Syracuse loading up the box, and a penalty marker down.
Yeah, Syracuse has been stimming a little bit, and by that I mean they're moving right before the ball is snapped, and you don't know whether that's
prior to the snap. False start. Offense number 76. Penalty. It's still 2nd down.
If that's affecting the offensive line of Stanford, that's the 2nd false start penalty in this game. It's something that definitely we need to keep an eye on.
They get Jack Layer. It's a Stanford offensive line which went through a pretty total makeover from week 1 to week 2. Pauley at right guard, the only one that started in the same position the first 2 weeks. Daniels wants Io Manor. He didn't know where the ball was.
It was thrown so early that he didn't have time to really find it while it was in the air. Just couldn't track it. And Daniels they've worked on this and repped it. Hey, I'm going to throw it to the back corner, and he just couldn't find it. Big down here where they go from 2nd and 4 to now 3rd and 9 because of the penalty.
9th play of the drive, and Cedric Irvin comes in as the second running back. He goes wide. Daniels rolls right. Io Manor open, brings it in! An incredible catch by Alec Io Manor, and Stanford, the visitor in its first ACC game, on the board first.
Which is exactly why we made the comment, you'll see this young man playing on Sundays. This is a redshirt sophomore, but one hand to grab it, snag it, and secure it. Well in bounds with the feet. What a catch. What a catch. That's pretty.
We saw him a Friday night last year against Colorado. 13 catches, a school record, 294 yards. And he did it all in the second half and overtime. Emmett Kenny for the PAT. And it's 7-0 Stanford.
Let's go back and take a look at the touchdown reception by Alec Io Manor. This is a simple fade route. Hey, it's overthrown, but not so much for him. Stanford up early, 7-0.
This is college football primetime presented by Ram Trucks. Troy Taylor, second-year head coach at Stanford after a successful run at Sacramento State. One of the challenges in Palo Alto, you can't go into the transfer portal and plug and play. When he first took over, he lost 6 offensive linemen to the portal. All 6 ended up starting for somebody else. And at Stanford, to get those undergraduate transfers with multiple years of eligibility, even one, not easy with the academic requirements. Alec Io Manor had the Stanford touchdown in the last drive. He's wearing a mic for us tonight.
Another one. That's where
for you to break out. Let's go.
You see how I cut the middle out?
Huh? What you mean?
For extra breathing capabilities.
Oh, you busted open?
Am I ready? I don't know. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't for real.
I'll say he's ready. One of the best receivers in the country.
Trevor Pena, the motion man. McCord off the fake. Into the flat. There's Gadsden for the catch. Clark.
Yeah, Zeed Haynes, one of the promising young receivers for Syracuse. I'm just getting word from their officials that he will not play tonight due to a personal matter. He's a Georgia transfer. He's a burner with great speed. The good news is, though, Kyle McCord has spread the ball out in the first couple games. In the opener against Ohio, 8 different receivers caught passes.
It was the same story against Georgia Tech. 8 different receivers caught passes.
That's Darrell Gill near the sticks. And it looks to be enough for a first down. Syracuse also without Will Nixon, its number 2 running back tonight.
Yeah, they're looking to get Darrell Gill Jr. more touches, getting him more involved as the season goes. So it's a perfect opportunity with Zeed Haynes out for him to really snag an opportunity and have a big night.
Zeed Haynes along with Jackson Meeks, Georgia transfers who followed Fran Brown from Athens to Syracuse.
Let me tell you something about your coach when the offensive players are following.
Quint Allen off right tackle for a gain of a couple. Anthony Franklin to stop Stanford on its defensive line without one of its starters, Tobin Phillips, tonight.
Yeah, and Anthony Franklin, he makes things go up front. You see the quickness, down the line, speed to kind of track down LaQuint Allen. He's a big guy that's hard to move inside. And he is a force along that Stanford defensive line.
Ford on the move and has to run out of bounds. Third down. Clay Patterson, grad transfer from Yale, who left the Eli second all-time in sacks.
A lot of different looks in terms of the fronts by Stanford. Sometimes 4 down, sometimes 3 down, and dropping 8 at times, 7 another. Just kind of, they're going to make Kyle McCord think his way through this process, especially here early in the ball game, and to show him a lot of different looks. And then I would expect later on some pressure to start coming off the edges by this Stanford defense.
Showing blitz on 3rd and long. Delayed pressure. McCord downfield, almost picked by Wright, overthrew Jackson Meeks. And here comes Jack Stonehouse to punt.
Looks like Jackson Meeks may have pulled up on his route. He was expecting him to go to the corner. He just kind of stopped. So the underneath portion of that, and then you have Gill over the top. So you got 2 guys in the game right now that hadn't had a whole lot of game reps, so to speak, for this Syracuse offense.
Tiger Bachmeier, the return man for Stanford. Against Cal Poly, was the first Stanford player since Christian McCaffrey in the 2016 Rose Bowl to take a punt back. He's going nowhere this time. Strong special teams coverage by Syracuse, and then a late hit, which draws the flag.
Well, I'm not sure. They may talk about this because it looked as though Bachmeier may have gotten up and he didn't think he was down, and so Gadsden was just making sure that he was down. He got up to start running again. So the officials in a long conversation about this. Not sure if he was.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, kicking team, 15-yard penalty, first down, Stanford.
Let's bring in our rules expert, Matt Austin. Matt, did you see that Gadsden maybe didn't think Bachmeier was down all the way?
You know, I think that's a slim possibility. It looked like with the runner, he was down. He spun around, he got up. As he got up, he hesitated like he was going to stop. The defender was standing there, then he sped up again to hit him. So I think he knew exactly what he was doing.
The penalty gives Stanford a free 15. They've got the ball at the 29. Scored on the last drive, and they picked on Jaden Bellamy on that drive, who came in for an injured Marcellus Barnes.
And they've got off coverage right now.
They want to keep Daniels in the pocket. Low throw to Iomanner. Clarence Lewis closed in quickly, 2nd and 10.
They've decided to start traveling the more experienced Clarence Lewis, especially with Barnes Jr. out of the game right now. So it's going to be Lewis who is traveling with Iomanner. Anything to slow the big guy down. This man, is he off to a good start.
He does it all on the field, in the classroom. One of his classes is Japanese.
Wow.
Zone read, it's Ford, the freshman, and bottled up after about a yard on the play. 3rd down, 9 to go. And Syracuse brings in a couple of extra pass rushers.
And Sparrow's going to he's going to have to start tackling somebody. He's getting in the backfield. He's just not wrapping up. He's running by guys as opposed to getting them on the turf.
Sparrow seeing more playing time with Arlo Wax out.
He is the guy they missed, Wax. He led him in tackles the last 2 seasons.
Fadil Diggs standing up over the left tackle, who's a true freshman. Daniels to the outside and able to complete. Moody Rubin, junior from Kansas City, 4th catch of the season, and a first down for Stanford.
And it's the timing of the ball coming out of the hands of Daniels that gives this a chance. He's got all kind of pass rush, but the routes on time. Rubin makes a heck of a catch, and the effort to reach for the first down marker was unreal.
Quarterback draw. Rubin was still limping when they lined up. Flag on the play.
And it's going to be a hold here. They're trying to go fast, but they didn't realize Rubin was hurt.
Offense number 76. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Jack Layer, who's in the game.
The penalty is declined. It's second down.
That left guard is the guilty culprit. Rubin's going to the bench or into the 10 area. They're trying to run tempo and didn't realize that they had a guy that's down.
So far, 6 running plays, 4 runs by the quarterback and 2 by the freshman Ford. They empty it out. They got 2 running backs in the game. Daniels looking around, flushed, chased by Diggs. Daniels turns the corner and lassoed out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Not much on the play, 3rd and long.
When he can just pin his ears back and come after you, Diggs is something else from the outside. He is chasing. He's going to be blocked, and then all of a sudden he is one-on-one with a fast quarterback, making no ground on Mr. Diggs. Physical specimen at 6'5", 260 pounds. Right here in Camden, New Jersey, to school at A&M, and boy, has he been a find since transferring in here to Syracuse.
He followed his defensive coordinator, Elijah Robinson, part of a ballyhooed transfer class. Edge pressure from Jobity. Downfield, Io Manor bobbles in, complete. Lewis in coverage. Got in the way. It's 4th down. Flag in the backfield. This might be on Syracuse.
Yeah, maybe a late hit on the quarterback.
Roughing the passer. Defense number 94. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah, that's the one thing. When I got a chance to visit with Fran Brown last night, and he told me, he said, hey, we can't beat ourselves. We cannot be undisciplined against a team like Stanford. Otherwise, we make it tough on ourselves. And a couple of times here, the Gadsden penalty to give them some better field position, and then the late hit on the quarterback, Ashton Daniels, there to give Stanford some pretty good field position past midfield.
Jobity's been a part of the D-line rotation for a few years now. Daniels gives it to Chris Davis. A little miscommunication initially, and then Davis freight trains his way inside the Syracuse 40 to the 38-yard line.
True freshman. I think it's actually meant to look like it was going to be a sprint out, and then an underneath draw play back coming the other way. And so I think the mesh point was a little bit off in terms of it almost put the ball on the turf, but the action was exactly what they wanted, which turned into a 7-yard gain.
Davis, a 4-star recruit out of Mississippi.
Feeling pretty good about this matchup with Clarence Lewis and Io Manor.
Bottom of your screen. Zone read. Daniels keeps, gets past Diggs. And another first down as Daniels lowers his head. Finally, Deuce Chestnut made the tackle. And the quarterback run game has been quite successful for Stanford tonight.
It's more than I anticipated, to be quite honest with you, Anish. Troy Taylor told us we're going to run him about 10 times. We're not going to make a living out of it, but he's already run it 7 times. And so, you know, a handful of those, or about 5 or 6, have been designed quarterback runs, maybe another one on a scramble. But he is well on pace to go past that 10 that Troy Taylor talked to us about.
Now they got another running quarterback behind him, the Syracuse transfer, Justin Lamson. Daniels again takes a big hit from Chestnut.
Did we misunderstand him? Well. And he said 10 per half?
It might be. I mean, he's tracking for about 30-something right now.
My goodness, whatever it takes to win. When you travel this far, you certainly don't want to fly back with an L that, you know, attached to you.
And this is going to be their new normal.
Yeah.
They've got 4 games in the Eastern time zone this season. This is the first of 4. You're in the ACC now. Football, you get the extra day. You can fly out early Wednesday. I'm curious to see what the impact on other sports will be.
That's a great point.
Lake lock down to 2. Daniel steps up again. Throws. He's got Ford. Spins. Touchdown. The freshman Michael Ford. There is a flag down. And you wonder if Daniels crossed the line. It is a holding penalty, which takes the touchdown off the board. But Daniels with his arm and his legs giving this defense trouble in the first 15 minutes. Stanford still in striking distance with a 7-0 lead on the road in their first ACC game. A holding penalty on the last play of the first quarter wipes out a Stanford touchdown.
Yeah, they get Simi Pauley, the right guard. Actually could have gotten either right guard or right tackle, and then a hands to the face by Pauley as well. A lot going on the right side of this Stanford line. Got to get it ironed out. They're moving the football, but having to overcome pre-snap penalties.
So 2nd down and 19 to begin the quarter. Daniels, quick throw to the sideline, and that is CC. Gets a chunk back. It sets up 3rd and far more manageable.
Boy, they get just enough production out of CC and Bachmeier to where it frees up, and you can't double up on Ioman because you have to worry about the quickness of CC and the playmaking ability of Tiger Bachmeier. And you will find that when you get down here towards the red zone, it creates one-on-ones for the big play receiver.
CC through 2+ games has 13 catches now. Tops on the team.
Ioman in the slot.
Ford motions out. Urban in the block. Daniels looking for help to the end zone. Knocked away by Lewis.
But when
4th down, he should have just thrown that away.
Well, he had CC when he turned up the field, and I thought he was going to let it go early. Either he catches it or no one catches it. You put it in a spot where it's either the receiver can come up with it or it goes out of bounds. But he elected to hold on to it a little bit too long, and the rush closed in on him, bringing up a field goal attempt here for Stanford.
Emmett Kenny, a senior, but in his first year as the place kicker, 4 for 4 entering today. Did not attempt a field goal prior to this season. A 38-yarder. And Kenny gives Stanford a 10-0 lead. A strong start for the Cardinal on the road. This season, All-State celebrates every field goal and extra point made with a donation to the participating university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State. Got a 2nd-year coach for Stanford and Troy Taylor. Fran Brown, season 1 for Syracuse. And the Orange last time out 2 weeks ago had the win against what was at the time a ranked Georgia Tech team. Opened a lot of folks' eyes on what this team might be able to do. Fran Brown was known to be one of the best recruiters. So was his defensive coordinator, Elijah Robinson. They imported a lot of talent on this team. And in an ACC, which has been up and down early, again, a lot of football to be played, this team could be a player.
It's an impressive roster, that's for sure, especially on the offensive side. Where they had trouble with Georgia Tech was defending the run game, and able to fix that and ride that into a win. But they're going to have to start scoring some points here. This is a very, very important drive because you can't give Stanford the ball back again and have them go down and score.
Malachi James will stay put. Triple header Saturday on ABC. NC State against number 21 Clemson. Grayson McCall out. True freshman C.J. Bailey will get the start for NC State. LSU hosting UCLA in what is now a SEC Big Ten game. The Heupel Bowl in Norman, Tennessee.
Going home.
Going home. He's the head coach, Josh Heupel is, for the Volunteers to take on Oklahoma. Heupel almost won the Heisman in his time with the Sooners.
Explosive offense. It's Tennessee. Man, can they put points on the board.
Quint Allen ambushed in the backfield for a loss.
Just can't seem to find creases, and that's going to come with completions down the field. All of a sudden, that front seven will soften a little bit, and I think Syracuse will be able to run the football. But with the receivers out, it's been a little hard for Kyle McCord to get this passing game started.
10 plays, 25 yards for Syracuse. McCord hit from the backside, lost the football. It's out. Stanford looks to have covered it up. No, Syracuse got it.
Now, they had 2 white jerseys there, and the ball got tipped out somehow. And all of a sudden, it's back in the belly of a blue jersey. But it's definitely out. David Bailey, who is solid, and I mean solid in their third down package, comes off the edge. When they allow him to just pin his ears back and be a rusher, boy, is he a force.
Yeah, they feel he's got a chance to be really good. Consistency has held him back. And now it's 3rd and 21 for Syracuse. Stanford drops 7. Screen pass to Allen. Zigzagging his way out to the 25-yard line. It sets up 4th down, and Stanford defense, which was haunted by the pass against TCU in a Week 1 loss, played well against Cal Poly Week 2. They've looked pretty strong here on the road.
Yeah, guys have got to start stepping up, making plays. Clark mentioned Zeed Haynes. He's out of the lineup tonight. He's just going to present some opportunities for some younger players, and they've got to start making some plays for Kyle McCord, their quarterback.
Stanford's D has held Syracuse to 19 yards on 12 plays. Bachmeier brought down shy of the 25-yard line after a 57-yard punt by Stonehouse. Texas hosting Louisiana Monroe. Arch Manning will make his first career start. Played well in relief of the injured Quinn Ewers last week.
Boy, did he play well.
What does Sark do if Manning balls out again?
If Ewers is still hurt, he starts him again the next week. If Ewers is ready to play, you go back with Ewers.
In the flat to the tight end, Roush is torpedoed by Elijah Clark. They call him Cinco.
Second on the team in tackles. He leads them in solo tackles, and you see why. He is not afraid to come up from his safety spot and strike. Very aggressive player on the back end. I think he's got a future on Sundays as well. He's a guy I highlighted and really liked watching on video. I'm trying to get out of the habit of saying film. Film is outdated. We don't watch film anymore. Though I know it's a term.
Intercepted by Devin Grant, who led the MAC with 5 picks for Buffalo last year. He read the screen all the way.
I tell you what, did he break on the football or what? What a play. And then laying out to come up with the interception and telling his head coach, Fran Brown, I got you. A corner or 2 that's out with Barnes hurt. You're going to make one heck of an adjustment from the slot position. Just reads it absolutely perfectly, knowing exactly where the ball's going. What a break on the football. Syracuse with its best field position of the night.
Quint Allen is the running back. McCord to throw. Out route, Trevor Pena. Spin cycle. First down, Syracuse.
Well, we were just talking about Pena. Where is he? They need guys to start making plays and step up in the absence of Haynes. Gadsden, got to get him going. The big tight end.
checking in for Syracuse, the freshman from Newark, nicknamed Train, via Sin Willis. He's a big bruiser of a running back, number 23 in blue and orange. One of the officials fell down. He says he's okay. Thumbs up.
Turf monster.
Crowd laughed.
Glad he's okay.
Off a high snap. McCord chased and has to kill it. Tristan Sinclair, he and Gaithan Bernadelle, the two linebackers, they are the heartbeat of this Stanford defense.
And they make plays. Both can play sideline to sideline, and Sinclair was quickly closing in on McCord. So they wanted to run a little slip underneath and get the back to the flat. They read it perfectly, they being Stanford. And they just kind of confused, muddied the waters, so to speak. Nothing was there, and the smart thing to do is throw it away, come back on second down.
Split household for Sinclair. He and Dad, Stanford guys, mom, sister, and his aunts all went to Cal.
And this is where Pena usually shows up big.
Allen looking for the edge. Can't get there. Colin Wright, the corner, came up to make the play.
I don't know that anybody went with Pena to the corner, and this looks like it could have been an RPO, could have pulled that baby, and he had Pena to the corner. I want to revisit that at some point. Same formation, Pena's out the back door, and nobody goes to the corner with him.
They got Gadsden and Pena in the slot. Justice Ross Simmons, the Colorado State transfer, lined up at the bottom of your screen.
It is man across the board right here.
McCord floats it to the end zone for Pena. Incomplete. He was covered by Jay Green.
And it's the pressure of David Bailey on Kyle McCord. Didn't have the luxury of reading it out. Bailey's in his face, I mean, quickly.
Yeah, they feel Bailey's their most talented pass rusher. Again, they want him to just be a little more consistent. And they told us he's going to play on a lot of these third downs that are passing downs. Pinned his ears back, rushed McCord. Field goal attempt is good by Brady Denneberg from 30 and gets Syracuse on the board off the interception by Devin Grant.
The new 12
Who have inspired so many of us. Nominate a great teacher in your community by visiting cfpfoundation.org.
Miss Sandra Smith, my favorite, 5th grade.
Paul Carcaterra has a little more after this kickoff.
Well, Nish, Gaithan Bernadelle, the linebacker, had a special teacher down in Florida. He's from inner city Miami. He told me, where's number 0? Because nothing was handed to him and he never cheated the process. Ariel Davis, his PE teacher and basketball coach at Highland Oaks Middle School, as a 13-year-old, instilled that very mindset in him and gave him a belief that he could accomplish anything. Actually telling Gaithan back then he wanted his son to grow up and be just like Gaithan. And being a genuine soul, he said, is the most important thing, and Mr. Davis has had a lifelong effect on this young man. I spoke to him this week. He can light up a room, man.
Excellent all-conference player on the field, 4-0 student off the field. Davis ankle tackled from behind by James Hurd. And Bernadelle also has the distinction of being the first undergraduate transfer for Stanford in the portal era.
That's saying something. It is not easy to get into Stanford. It's why you talked about it at the top. You don't see a lot of transfers on this Stanford roster. Him being the first mid-year transfer. But he loves football. He can locate it and make plays.
Some of the guys you see who transferred from Princeton, from Yale, flag down.
Now they're finally, I think, going to get Syracuse on this jumping stuff. Isaiah Hastings is the guy that's doing it. He's almost flinching and stemming, and it's at the right before the ball is snapped.
Game. for movement uncommon to the game. Defense number 88.
Yeah.
5-yard penalty. Second down.
Let's bring in our rules expert, Matt Austin. Matt, that is a big point of emphasis this year.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Anish. The NCAA, they just want both teams to line up and play football. Forget these quick shifts, these quick stems, the hand movements. Just line up and play football. And Syracuse got away with it a couple times earlier, in my opinion. This time they got caught.
Hastings, Watson was another that you could have called the same penalty on.
CC, the motion man. Instead, a handoff, and there's Ford. He's going to bring up third and about 3.
You saw him have the touchdown catch that was brought back because of a holding penalty. He's made a nice transition to running back from quarterback where he played in high school. And he was mostly a runner in high school, but he has made the switch, and they have, as a true freshman, kind of hard to do, but they believe in him, and they keep feeding him the football.
Stanford subbing late, so they've got to give Syracuse a chance to sub. Play clock down to 1. They just get it off. Daniels throw. It's caught by CC. And a first down for the Cardinal.
Well, CC's having some game, isn't he? You know, with all the eyes, no pun intended, on Io Manor, that it's allowing some others to make plays in the passing game. And it's been CC. He's quick. Good route runner. He's caught a touchdown pass in both games prior to tonight. One against TCU and another against Cal Poly.
4 catches tonight. In pocket, Daniels taking a lot of time, and now devoured by Dennis Jacquez.
He is a good, solid edge player. Starting to get home is this Orange defense. Right around the corner, you cannot block that young man with Micah Ford, who this time last year was playing quarterback, Toms River, New Jersey. We don't ask quarterbacks to block much. Unless you switch positions, obviously.
Not even in the wing tee?
And, well, in that offense, you will.
A flag at the end of the play.
I mean, right in the middle of the formation. It's going to be a hold against Stanford again. And you get the sack yardage.
Holding. Offense number 57. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
So he's going to play. Fran Brown's going to play the field position battle. Take him back another 10 yards. Did he decide to decline it? They're right in the middle of the formation.
The center, Levi Rogers, from the wine town of Woodinville, Washington.
And it's just all across the board where the holes are coming from, and it's the 2 young players, House and Malenko, are holding up well. It's the guys in the middle of the offensive line that are having the problems.
Daniels, screen pass, CC. Engulfed, another loss. Negative yards on the play, 3rd and long.
Devin Grant is holding on for dear life. And this couple of plays early in this drive, successful for Stanford, and then the sack and a penalty. Another lost yardage play there, and they are all the way back inside their own 20-yard line.
They keep it on the ground to Ford. That was essentially a surrender. Live to play another series. Remember last time they threw the pick.
Yep.
4th down, didn't want to give Syracuse a short field.
Give them some room to punt this thing out. You got to know when enough is enough sometimes, and this isn't the drive that it's going to happen on. The only thing that was going to bail out Stanford there was a penalty that gave him an automatic first down.
Here is Pena, signals for a fair catch and makes it inside the 30. Stanford's first ACC game and the 44th anniversary of the first game played in this building. All right, thank you, Kelsey. 10-3, 4:51 to go, first half, and we've seen a lot of laundry on the field.
False start. Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
This is a big fella. Really like Savion Washington. Like this film, and excellent run blocker. He's 6'8", 340 pounds, and looks like he weighs about 240. And he plays with light feet, good hands. Really like him as a player. Syracuse, 16 plays in this game so far. 7 of them have been for a loss or no gain.
And 4 penalties. Play action. McCord wants Pena reaching, and he hauls it in. It's been a bounce-back season for Pena early on, who only played 1 game due to a hamstring injury last year.
2 high safeties, they split. The weakness of that coverage is the middle of the field, and you're trying to track it with a linebacker who can't stay with Pena.
And now tempo. High snap. Willis bulldozes his way inside the 40.
Train is what they nicknamed him.
Yeah, you could see why.
Yes, indeed. He said when he got here, he was trying to make guys miss. And then all of a sudden, you know, they talked to him a little bit and said, hey, quit trying to make guys miss and do what you were doing to get yourself here. Then he started trucking guys in practice.
They'll try to do it again. Hammerheads for a yard. 3rd down and short, could be 4-down territory. Kark?
Yeah, they need more of Train, and when I spoke to Kyle McCord this week, he said it was critical that they match Stanford's physicality. Heading into this drive, Syracuse had -4 yards rushing. Getting the freshman and LaQuinton Allen involved is critical, but credit Stanford too. This run defense is much improved from a year ago. Last year, allowing almost 5 yards a pop. This year, they held TCU in the opener to only 3 yards per rush.
Physicality has long been the hallmark for Stanford. McCord sacked, deleted, back near midfield. It's the heart of Tafiti. Tavarua Tafiti, the junior from Hawaii.
Somebody just flat out blew a block. I think it's Max Mang who's responsible. And he just opened the door, just turned his hips, let a guy run right around him on your quarterback. Boy, I would have, honestly, letting the cat out of the bag, I would have a few words with Max Mang when we get to the sideline. Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it. And the leader that Kyle McCord is, we've been told by this Syracuse program, I guarantee you he will have a few as well.
That bounces into the end zone for a touchback. Now, Fran Brown told us, and he's told everybody, when he got McCord to come from Ohio State, he said, I'm the head coach. You're my second in command. The ACC Network has a full slate of games Saturday, starting with James Madison, North Carolina. Rutgers in Blacksburg to take on Virginia Tech. And Kark, as a former lacrosse player, I know this one is near and dear to you. Michigan State at BC in the red bandana game.
Absolutely, Anish, and that's Wells Crowder, who's a hero in 9/11, and how he saved so many lives and unfortunately lost his. And Wells Crowder is a signal for hope and inspiration in the BC community. He was a lacrosse player there. I know so many players, whether it was at Nyack High School and guys like John Hess, who knew Wells so much, or Kevin McLean at BC. His teammates were huge proponents of him. We got a big play here.
This is Davis, and maybe a touchdown-saving tackle by Deuce Chestnut, who is now down at the 32-yard line.
Chris Davis came into this game with only 6 carries on the year, but what a nice job of blocking out on the edges.
Point injury.
I think it's Cedric Irvin who actually opened a hole for him. His back his counterpart in the backfield. Oh, what a nice block by Cedric Irvin. That's a pancake block by a running back, and the speedy Davis takes advantage of it. 47 yards later.
Now the Stanford run game accounting for 108 yards so far. Chestnut went down after the play. Deuce Chestnut was an All-American corner for Syracuse, a freshman All-American, and then last year transferred to LSU, didn't play a whole lot. Came back to Syracuse. They moved him to safety.
Oh, what an
He's
effort
from
by
Camden, which is Fran Brown's hometown, and Fran Brown has brought in a lot of players from that area.
And I think he's going to continue to do so. You know, when Greg Schiano was on his run at Rutgers, it was Fran Brown who was bringing in the recruits, and so he's from that area. Got to believe he's going to have his share of guys that come from New Jersey to Syracuse to develop under his tutelage.
So Chestnut out of the game. The two safeties, Clark and Barry Buxton. Split backs again. Davis again. Lost the football at the end of the play.
A lot of blue jerseys around that pile, Anish. They're going to call. I think they may have ruled him down.
The ruling on the field, the runner was down prior to the ball becoming loose. This is the 2-minute timeout.
See if he indeed was down. Close.
In halftime report, we're taking a look at Dylan Raiola, what he's been able to do so far in the top 25 showdown in primetime against Illinois. Plus, speaking of offense, man, what are we going to see from Tennessee tomorrow when they take on Oklahoma? And we're mulling it over. Who is the best freshman so far in the country? Offensive player or defensive player? Joey Galloway, Dan Mullen join me soon.
The previous play is under further review.
I don't understand that, because you had the 2-minute timeout. You had all this time.
Yeah,
and now you make the announcement. Yeah. We had the entire commercial break to do this.
Could have been reviewed and
we would have had an answer.
But maybe they just, someone identified it.
Cinco Clark comes up on Chris Davis. Ruling on the field was ball carrier was down.
Well, you can't see the ball until he lands and then it pops out. I think they have it right on the field.
Nothing on that first look to overturn.
I don't see the ball moving whatsoever, and then it just pops out as his elbow hits the turf. I think this is,
after further review, the ruling on the field stands. Yeah. Second down.
I agree with that call.
Yeah, nothing there to overturn it. Fran Brown was all over the officials during the break, but again, you wait until after everybody's ready. There's this impetus to speed things up and get games in a tidy window.
Yeah,
that doesn't help. Second and 6, Stanford. Irvin and Ford, the split backs with Daniels. He was 10 of 16, 87 yards passing,
this is
33 rushing.
This is a look that you see Syracuse run on video.
Like quarterback power. Daniels bounces to the outside. Multiple flags down near the line of scrimmage.
Another holding call is going to bring it back. You'd like to say it's the young players on the offensive line, but
holding. Offense number 76. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That's his third for Layer. I mean, a good run by Daniels, and oh yeah, definitely a hold. I don't know how many of those you get before you get a permanent seat for the night on the bench, because you're just hurting the team.
Layer started at left tackle week 1, moved to left guard week 2. The delay. Here's Davis. He's had a few good runs. back near the original line of scrimmage. Jobity the tackle. It's 3rd down.
Charge timeout. Syracuse, their first of the half. It will be 30 seconds.
Syracuse stops the clock here on 3rd down. Kark.
Anish and Andre, not good news for Syracuse in the defensive backfield. Their star freshman, Marcellus Barnes Jr., is an Under Armour All-American, a big-time get for Fran Brown in year 1 of his recruiting cycle. He's in street clothes, so he will not return to this game. And Andre, you pointed out, too, they've been picking on his replacements a little bit in this one.
Yeah, they have. When Bellamy came in the game, they went right at him. But Devin Grant has really stepped up and kind of solidified things in the secondary, especially at that corner spot. Clarence Lewis has played some solid football in the first half of this one.
And we have not called Alec Iomanner's name in some time.
Yeah, and it's because of the play of those two gentlemen I just named, Grant and Lewis.
Iomanner lined up at the top of your screen. CC goes that way. Daniels fakes the screen. Deep drop. Jobity chases him, throws it up. And Iomanner makes the catch, but he's out of bounds. 4th down. And the kicking team will come on. Emmett Kenny will try for another field goal.
Yeah, right at the tail end of that comment you were making, Daniels is looking for Iomanner. I mean, he is trying to find him. He makes the grab, but he's out of bounds. Just trying to throw it up to let him give him an attempt at it.
Longest career attempt for Kenny. First year as the starting place kicker. A 51-yarder. And he puts it through. Kenny is 2 for 2. 13-3, Stanford on top of Syracuse. Now a quick word from Verbo.
As your host, I have some rules. 2 flush maximum per bathroom visit. No games, no fun. There's a great barbecue outside, but don't touch that.
Meanwhile, at a Verbo, when other vacation rentals make you share your turf with a host, try one that's all yours.
That's pretty good.
Anish Shroff, Andre Ware, Paul Carcaterra, Friday night at the JMA Wireless Dome.
Huge field goal there for Stanford, because it makes it a 2-score game. And you're on the road, young football team you're trying to build. If you're Troy Taylor, you want to give them every ounce of confidence that you can going into that locker room at halftime.
Big possession here coming up for Syracuse. They get the ball first to begin the 3rd quarter, but have 2 timeouts.
This could totally change.
No chance here for Malachi James. Of note, NFL Sunday comes your way at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Countdown Crew on ESPN and the app. All the early breaking stories, a lot of injury updates and previews of each game right up until kickoff. First couple of weeks in the NFL, one trend: rushing across the league, way up.
Yeah. It takes a little while for the timing of the passing game to kind of get itself going. So what do? You start relying and allowing O-linemen to just tee off.
McCord under pressure, sacked again. Ball looked to come out, but they say he is down.
David Bailey again getting
the
home.
ruling on the field is the runner was down prior to the ball becoming loose. 2nd down.
4 sacks by this Stanford defense.
Total yards so far, Stanford 205. Syracuse just 70, and you can subtract a little bit more from that. But unable to hold up against the likes of David Bailey, the pass rush extraordinaire.
McCord rolling out, finds Pena, and he's shy of the 35-yard line, close to the marker. It's going to bring up 3rd and 2. Syracuse going quickly. They still have 2 timeouts in the pocket.
You might want to take one instead of letting this clock run like this.
Again, Court flush to his right. Finds a wide open Yamari Hatcher, and he is gone. Touchdown, Syracuse. 67 yards, Yamari Hatcher.
And no flags. What a nice job of improvising by Kyle McCord. And he saw him. He saw Hatcher kind of breaking open because Zyron Manley fell down in coverage, and that freed up Mr. Hatcher. I mean, nice job on the back end by the quarterback of keeping his eyes open. You see Manley go down. I'm not sure he would have been called for holding on the back end anyway, but a nice job by Syracuse scoring quickly.
And that was with less than a minute. Third down. Hatcher comes up with a big play. Big 6'3" wide receiver. Was the team's #2 receiver a year ago behind Damian Alford, who ended up transferring to Utah. And now Stanford will get the ball back with 28 seconds to go in this first half. The Cardinal with all 3 timeouts.
What did I say about a 2-score lead?
Gone.
I mean, gone. And now you just have to hold up defensively. You're getting the ball first in the second half. Maybe you've kind of found something offensively to get Kyle McCord going, this passing game, and then all of a sudden LaQuint Allen gets going. Pena has been big. That catch he made was huge for Syracuse.
3 catches, 59 yards for Trevor Pena. That was Hatcher's first catch of the game, first touchdown of the season. Bachmeier, the deep man for Stanford. And Stanford will take it at the 25.
Let's take a look at this Yamari Hatcher touchdown reception. He's just going to give it like he's going to the middle of the field. He's going to come back, and he just loses Manley, who's in man coverage. He knows he's beaten, tries to reach and grab, and then it's just speed. Nobody's going to catch Hatcher from behind. Experienced wide receiver, redshirt junior. He started 11 of 13 games last year and is off to one heck of a start this season.
How does Troy Taylor now play out this series with the 3 timeouts?
You're trying to get a field goal. If I'm Troy Taylor, I'm trying to work the ball down the field, get a field goal here.
And off to Davis. Oftentimes that first play, usually a run, dictates how you call the drive.
And they want the timeout. And that's the drive starter, so to speak. You're trying to see if you can break a draw play.
Their first of the half.
They're hoping Davis is okay. He's a little slow to get up. But boy, has he been a playmaker and an element of speed for this Stanford offense.
6 carries, 73 yards.
Please set the game clock to 21 seconds.
That's more than he had coming in.
Game clock, please.
He had 6 carries for 53 yards entering the game.
New career high. Young career for the freshman.
Boy, and I tell you what, when you go one-on-one with Elijah Clark.
Turn it a 1-on-6 real quick.
It really does. You better have your chin strap buttoned up and your mouthpiece in, because he is coming up to hit you big time. He tackles everything.
Stanford would like to stay in the 52, 54-yard field goal range for Kenny. So they want to probably get it inside the 40 for a realistic chance. We are indoors. No elements. Daniels improvising and runs out of bounds. That'll stop the clock. 13 seconds left in the half. Make it a dozen. And 2 timeouts left for Stanford.
I don't know that Syracuse can just play soft here. It's a little bit of time, and a play down the middle with 2 timeouts left will give them what they want in terms of a field goal attempt. So You got to make sure that you stay buttoned up defensively and you don't get too soft where there's a catch, a run, and they can get down and maybe a second or two to get a field goal off.
Need about 22 yards or so to give Kenny a realistic chance. And
Rise at the snap. Charge timeout. Syracuse, their second of the half.
Yeah, I think Fran Brown wants to visit about that exact thing, is to make sure that you don't allow somebody free in the secondary and then, you know, a catch and run and get down and call a timeout. Let's get to the halftime, down 13-10.
First meeting between Syracuse and Stanford. First ACC game for Stanford after more than a century in the Pac-12.
And if you're Stanford, you don't want to try to force one into coverage and you mess around and throw a pick six here. So it's a little bit of care on the side of both teams.
Alec Manor, Stanford's 1,000-yard receiver from a year ago, lined up at the top of your screen. CC the motion man. Daniels checks down. It's CC, bumped out of bounds, shy of the 45 by Justin Barron.
Well, they try to give a double move on Clarence Lewis, a pump and go, and he didn't bite on it. He stayed with Manor, nowhere for Daniels to go other than to check it down. Ford does a nice job of getting out of bounds, and not time for one more play unless it's something quick to the sidelines and stepping out of bounds, and I don't know that that's going to do you any good. Or if it can really be executed in 5 seconds.
Screen pass, Manor, and that brings us to the end of the first half. Stanford on the road, making the cross-country trip. Takes a 3-point lead into the locker room. JMA Wireless Dome. It is the ACC on ESPN. Stanford's first game in league play in its new conference. And Schroff, former Heisman winner Andre Ware. Story of the first half, Stanford vintage, winning in the trenches.
Yeah, it was. I mean, defensively, they start getting home from the edges, and then offensively, they're finding some running lanes for the young true freshman running back.
Second half kickoff will go to Syracuse to start things off, and we'll look at our game track here in a moment, brought to you by American Express. After this kickoff, Syracuse got a 67-yard touchdown from McCord to Hatcher late in the first half to make this a 13-10 game. The Cardinal, 132 rush yards in the opening half. James will run this out, and he is tackled well shy of the 25, only out to the 15. Tonight's American Express game track.
You see the production by Stanford on the ground. You mentioned it. Syracuse unable to get any type of ground game going. That's what's allowing guys like David Bailey to get home, because you don't have to respect running the football. They're holding it down inside with Anthony Franklin and the likes, Sinclair, Bernadelle, and the two linebackers. And now the edge guys can just pin their ears back and come after Kyle McCord.
Stanford had 4 sacks in the first half off a high snap. But Quint Allen scavenging for about 5. Kark?
Well, these shots was the word Fran Brown told me when I asked him what more he wants from his offense. So look for Kyle McCord to let it rip. He'll have to. The run game has not been in effect today. Minus 13 yards in the first half. And Fran Brown, I'm watching him on the sideline. He is animated. He's sweat through 2 hats already. He's on hat number 3.
And probably a couple of shirts, Kark.
Quick throw by McCord. Pena for a first down.
Boy, they're getting the playmakers involved now. Pena, Allen, next Gadsden. Now, if you're starting to spread the ball around like that, it makes it tough for Stanford to really identify how you're going to hit them.
Two tight ends into the game. Valari with Gadsden. That pass tipped, and it falls incomplete.
They were trying to go to Rondé Gadsden there. It was intended for him, looking completely his way, and all of a sudden someone gets home. And it's Anthony Franklin, who had one outstanding first half.
Three-year starter and the anchor of that defensive line.
Well, he's a playmaker there. I mean, a guy that tough to run on, and he can give you some pass rush from inside.
They empty it out. Two tight ends lined up in the slot along with the running back Allen, who is an excellent wide receiver. Pressure coming, and the quick throw complete to LeQuint Allen. His second catch of the game. 15 straight games with a reception for Allen.
Bobby Abram, he told us that they were going to force the offensive line of Syracuse to block. And all of a sudden, guys are free, running free on the quarterback. Tafiti from the outside coming free. They go man across the board that last play, and then brought pressure with it.
Bailey, who's been a menace, is lined up over the left tackle. Downfield for Hatcher, back shoulder incomplete. Manley in coverage, and it's fourth down.
Just unable to get things going with any type of consistency. Long drives put together. This is straight out of the playbook for Bobby April and this Syracuse, this Stanford defense. He's doing exactly what he wants to do defensively.
Tiger Bachmeier waits at the 20. Chad Stonehouse, whose uncle punted for Stanford. Swan takes a Syracuse bounce. Bachmeier bobbles, able to cover it up. And Stanford with the ball for the first time here in the second half. 12:52 to go in the third. The Cardinals with a 3-point lead. Triple header on ABC. NC State will turn to true freshman C.J. Bailey at quarterback, starting in place of Grayson McCall. Wolfpack take on Clemson, LSU, UCLA, and then two talented young quarterbacks when number 6 Tennessee takes on Oklahoma in Norman. Chris Davis gets the call on first down for Stanford, and he picks up 5. Paul?
Also caught up with Troy Taylor, head Stanford coach, at the half too. He was livid about the holding penalties. He feels like they left another 6 on the scoreboard because of all those penalties, and feels like they weren't able to get into a rhythm offensively because of that. Defensively, other than that big shot play we saw by Kyle McCord late in the second quarter, he was thrilled with the defense. Said they're showing McCord a lot of different looks, disguising, and multiple defensively.
Daniels on the quarterback run sets up a 3rd and 1. Derek McDonald, a 3-year starter at linebacker, made the tackle.
Yeah, there's no feels like Clark. They actually did leave 6 on the scoreboard because of a holding penalty. Micah Ford with that touchdown reception is called back because of a hold. And this is the worst field position that Stanford has had to start a drive of the ball game.
And they bring in the Syracuse transfer, Justin Lamson, who's been the short yardage bruiser at quarterback, and this is more than likely a run play. There's Lamson, and the Orange get a stop against their former mate. Lamson said he's familiar with about 7 of the 11 defensive starters, and when he's in the game, Syracuse caution, you got to be wary of pass, but it's probably going to be a run.
Yeah, he did throw a touchdown pass in the TCU game, but the majority of the time, and it's the only pass he's thrown all season.
They're going to go for it.
Yeah, they're going to try to draw Syracuse off sides. There's no doubt about that. And then punt this thing away. You don't want to get, if they fall short here, you're surrendering a lead, or at the worst.
Well, he snapped the ball. Lamson fighting for it, and he gets through for a first down. Gutsy call by Troy Taylor, and Lamson against his old team delivers.
I couldn't even get, at worst, you're going to have a tied-up game because they're already in field goal position. But Troy Taylor, that's a statement. We didn't fly all the way across the country to leave anything behind. We are going to exhaust every single thing we can to come out of this with a win, including going for it inside your own 30-yard line.
Daniels, a three-time state champion quarterback in Georgia, back in. Finds CC, dragging Syracuse defenders across the 40. Give him 14 and a first down.
A nice job by Ashton Daniels. Kind of spreading the ball around a little bit here. CC along with Io Manor. Waiting on Bachmeier to get himself involved in things here in this passing game.
Yeah, they like CC's upside, and you're starting to see it. Touchdowns in the first 2 games.
He's got some speed.
7 catches on 8 targets tonight. Another split back look. Quarterback power. Daniels sheds a tackle. Angles out of bounds.
A nice job there. Daniels is just enough to force Syracuse to play 11 on 11. And he can do it with the best of them. You turn the video on and you see that time and time again in the TCU game, in the Cal Poly game.
Last year a bit up and down, but he had some big games. 367 through the air against Washington, 396 against Colorado. Daniels hit downfield, double coverage. Is it intercepted? It is. Clarence Lewis got the foot in. Intended for Cedric Urban, the running back.
Went late with it. I usually tell you don't go late over the middle, but he goes late and he just hangs the ball in the air. And just kind of uncharacteristic of Ashton Daniels of just putting one up, especially in the field of play. And not only does he get one down, he taps both.
And that's going to your running back.
Yes. It's another thing if it's your best receiver in Io Manor, where he can go up and make plays, but
4th career interception for Lewis, the Notre Dame transfer. 2nd interception for Syracuse tonight. Devin Grant had one earlier that led to a field goal. And now the orange off sudden change. Pressure from the middle. Out route incomplete for the Georgia transfer Jackson Meeks. Crowd wants a flag. No laundry. Zarn Manley, the 6th-year senior, in coverage.
Meeks may have gotten some of that, the turf rubber in his eyes, but you've got to continue to run your route. Guys are depending on you. Work on your eyes when the play's over and you got to catch, but crowd wants pass interference. I don't think so.
Delayed pressure. Pena. Pinball back at the 30-yard line by Jay Green, who played in every game for national runner-up Washington last year.
Boy, it looks good coming out of his hand, doesn't it? Tight spiral. And you rarely see the white on the ball when McCord throws it because the spiral's so tight.
He and Fran Brown go way back, and McCord, crown jewel offensively of the portal additions. This is Darryl Gill, and he picks up just enough to move the sticks.
A nice job of processing, going through your reads from one side, then all of a sudden the crosser comes right into his sight or his line of vision, and the accuracy.
This is Pena. Tunnel screen and dropped by Mitch Lieber. A loss of a yard. Andre, Fran Brown first heard of Kyle McCord way before McCord was even in high school. McCord's dad and Fran Brown's wife used to work together at the same hospital. Fran Brown would come watch his games when he was 12, 13 years old. The relationship never dimmed, and when McCord had decided to transfer from Ohio State, same day, Fran Brown was on a plane to Columbus, and he made a pitch to Kyle McCord. He said, "You need me and I need you," as LeQuint Allen needs just himself to get to the first down marker.
Yeah, and I mentioned earlier, they kind of unlocked Kyle McCord in terms of what he can do in the passing game. He can make every throw, and it's pretty to watch.
Play action, more pressure. McCord lets it fly. It's caught by Hatcher. First and goal, Syracuse.
They may be coming back. We got another flag on the field.
And it is holding. Offense number 19. 10-yard penalty.
It's been a rough night in the penalty department for the big tight end, Arondé Gadsden. Had a late hit penalty earlier in the first half, and then there a hold. And I don't know if McCord gets that ball off without the hold, to be quite honest with you.
Those cheers turned to boos awfully fast.
Quick, don't they? But they're aimed at the officials and not Gadsden.
Pena in motion. Stanford continues to bring pressure. Gill was wide open, and that time McCord missed him.
Yeah, you won't see that much. He's so accurate with the ball. 69% passer coming into tonight. Let's go back and take a look at this play, this hold against Gadsden. And he's working against a dominant pass rusher in David Bailey. Couple of Stanford players coming free on him.
Well, Bailey has been a menace tonight. He's been a game wrecker up front when he's been in. Another catch by Hatcher, and pushed out of bounds near midfield by Sinclair. Crowd wanted a late hit.
I don't think so. Hey, you've got a guy trying to get additional yards, and he's in bounds. It just looked a lot worse than it actually was. Let's go back and look at it. Trying to fight through a tackle. That's just football right there.
Free play. Pena for a first down after Ibar jumped.
He had the same situation happen in the Georgia Tech game, and he threw a touchdown pass to Gadsden. So he realized that he had a free play. McCord did, and he was pushing it downfield.
Defense number 14. The penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
This is the offense that you're used to seeing from Syracuse. Ball being pushed down the field by an accurate passer in McCord.
Now, they've had no run game to speak of tonight. It's been through the air almost exclusively. Underneath, incomplete for Pena. Lieber got in there. Kark.
Anish, you mentioned Fran Brown and the Philly connection with Kyle McCord. I spoke to him this week. He told me at some point in time he played with probably 8 or so of his current teammates. Deuce Chestnut was his youth league running back. Will Nixon, who's the son of OC Jeff Nixon, was his first grade teammate. And Fadil Diggs, who was actually only about 220 pounds in high school, he played 7-on-7 with him. So the comfortability of this team, this staff, it's there for McCord.
Here is Allen. He gets bottled up. Zach Rowell in there. More penalty markers.
I can only imagine that's where that flag's thrown. It's going to be another hold against Syracuse.
Holding. Offense number 74. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Left guard Jacob Bradford.
I mean, when you have a holding penalty on early downs, to pick up a first down, or at any time, it's going to be tough. You just don't design plays that, you know, go 2nd and 20. He's inside on a running play, and the guy starts to slip off. He grabbed the back of his shoulder pads. That is a straight up indicator of holding for the officials.
And Andre, part of it, credit the Stanford defense. They have been winning the line of scrimmage on defense.
They've owned it
most of the night.
Both sides.
2nd and 20. Here's Pena. Finds a seam.
Boy, is he
tough. Forward to the 40-yard line. It's going to bring up 3rd down and long. Syracuse needs the 29.
When Lieber's coming up full speed and Pena does not flinch. I mean, 2 safeties coming up and he does not flinch whatsoever. Man, what a collision and a tough play. You want to get it in his hands quickly, and that was what got him in a situation where 3rd and 12. I don't know if it's manageable, but certainly it's a whole lot more manageable than 3rd and 20.
11th play of the drive. McCord to the air, intercepted. Picked off. Mitch Lieber down the sideline. He's got a convoy. Gets the block. Pick 6. Stanford.
Dan Villari, the Syracuse tight end, didn't have a clue that the ball was being thrown to him. And so you as a quarterback, you're trying to get it out before the rush gets to you. You think a guy's going to hook up, or you're throwing it where he should be. And he's just lost on the play.
The extra point by Kenny Good. A 2-score game.
Boy, just playing center field was Mitch Lieber. He's expecting the tight end Villari to hook up outside. He goes inside, and Lieber with a pick 6 to extend this lead for Stanford.
Stanford, a 2-score lead. 44 years ago today, the Dome, then the Carrier Dome, now the JMA Wireless Dome, hosted its first football game, and Joe Morris took a kick return for a touchdown in that game against Miami, Ohio. No chance here for Malachi James, and Syracuse will have it at the 25.
Let's go back and take a look at that pick 6. Pre-snap reads telling me as a quarterback that Dan Villari's going to hook up inside. I mean outside. The position of the free safety, he's already inside, so it's here and then push inside and hook up outside. He hooks up inside with a defender already there. It makes it an easy break on the football. Then give me a speedier route. Get into your route a little bit faster so that the safety, Lieber, cannot break on the football in that manner.
Pressure again, screen to Allen. Dangerous. And Sinclair got him by the hips, pushed him out of bounds at the 40, gain of 16.
So I don't put that interception on the quarterback. I mean, you're just looking at a stat sheet. Yeah, it's going to say interception, but that's on his tight end, Dan Villari.
And Dan Villari was seen next to Fran Brown after that pick 6 on the sideline.
You know, they've got the tablets. They know, they see exactly what we're seeing in real time.
Allen driven back hard to Viti again. Boy, number 11's been a tornado on that defensive line for Stanford.
But he is playing some good football, isn't he? I mean, just all over the field and pass rush, defending the run. He only goes about 240 pounds, but they can't block him. Very detailed player, and he comes to work every single day.
Defensive coordinator Bobby April described him as a scrapper. On second down, McCord lets it fly. Almost picked again, wanted Hatcher. And Colin Wright, Stanford's top corner, got his hands on.
It's just tough running routes, good coverage. think he's expecting Hatcher to bring it back down the stem on the outside. He got tangled up with the corner to that side. Colin Wright. But boy, pre-snap read, Anish, it tells you a lot of stuff. Even when you're not motioning. Motion just tells you with the coverage.
Four-man rush. McCord into traffic and hauled in by Meeks.
Excellent throw. And that's over the outstretched hands. You want to know the definition of throwing guys open? Turn on the film or turn on the video of Kyle McCord. There's 3 defenders around him, and he just puts it right where Meeks and only Meeks can catch it.
Makes another Georgia transfer. Go to Hatcher inside the 40. Second catch for Hatcher. Had the 67-yard touchdown earlier, and then had a long catch called back during a holding penalty against Syracuse.
8 points here if you're Syracuse.
Andre, you watch what Syracuse is doing. Really no run game to speak of. You just expect Stanford to continue to bring pressure.
Yeah, that's been taken away by the interior portion of this Stanford defense. Made it hard for guys to run the football.
Back to the air. McCord drops it down, able to complete. And that's Yasin Willis' first reception as a member of Syracuse football.
They really like this young man and can't wait to turn him loose. Physical runner, showing you some hands right there.
Yeah, he picked up a blitz and then he leaked out and made the catch. Now he gets the call. There's that physicality, lowered his head right over Scotty Edwards, who, by the way, doubles as a concert pianist.
Isn't that amazing? Guy comes on campus, he's 6'1", 226. I mean, and he's not afraid to take on college defenders. Imagine what he was doing in high school this time last year, just trucking guys on a high school field.
He was a human hit stick. Edwards, the safety, now cheating up in the box. Second down, 2 running backs in the game. Quick throw, and there's Meeks for a first down. When you turned on film, you were texting us all week. You said there's so much what Kyle McCord does that speaks to advanced processing. Did we just witness it?
You did, and he's going to look coverage off and come back to certain spots. And then when you have the accuracy with him, guys feel responsible to play up to a certain level. They don't want to be the guy dropping the pass or holding penalty or just letting the quarterback down. They know they have a talented quarterback. That makes a difference for everybody on the offensive side.
3 tight ends in the game. Now Gatson goes wide. Fake to Allen. McCord ducks away. He'll try to run for it. McCord catapults. And he's in for a touchdown.
Compete and win. I mean, he just went airborne. Everything kind of breaks down. He gets immediate pressure from Lieber. And how do you pay him back? I'm going to sacrifice my body right into the end zone. What a run and the effort on the part of Kyle McCord.
The PAT is good. So one drive after throwing the interception, Kyle McCord bounces back.
Right back in this baby. I'm gonna get airborne to the corner of the end zone. Right back in it. This Syracuse.
Our player spotlight is brought to you by Cintas. Kyle McCord, we know he can do it through the air. Got his first career rushing touchdown on his longest career run to bring Syracuse within 3.
He is super tough. I know that.
Tiger Bachmeier, whose brother Hank is the quarterback at Wake Forest, makes the fair catch. Stanford now will go on the offensive from its own 25-yard line.
You need a stop here by your defense. Riding on some momentum right about now, and you're hoping that it carries over to this side of the football.
Stanford picked to finish last in the ACC. Coming over from the Pac-12, along with Cal.
They will not finish last in the ACC this year.
Troy Taylor told us this team will go as far as the offensive and defensive line.
And they've got to keep Ashton Daniels healthy. He's run the ball already 12 times for 43 yards.
The ruling on the field of the clock being at 7 seconds is confirmed.
Just checking the clock. No time ran off. CC in motion. Fake fly sweep. Diggs chasing Daniels. Throw downfield. Iomanner cannot hold on.
What a shot by Bellamy. Coming up on the big receiver, and he's slow to get up.
That is the end of the third quarter.
Alec Iomanner, Stanford's best receiver and their best skill player, down as we go to the fourth in Syracuse.
It's unmatchable. Yeah, he's our leader. He's the quarterback. We follow what he do. So, I mean, it's tough. He's a tough kid. He's been tough since he was a little kid, and he's just showing it out here today. Especially he's been getting hit. We haven't been protecting him as much, but we'll get it going. It's going to be a good fourth quarter.
What needs to happen to win this game?
We got to have one more point than them.
Ill-advised pass to Cedric Irvin, and Rashard Perry detonates the play.
Another guy showing some toughness is Iomanner. He is back in the game, but nowhere to go for Irvin. Jabali is a guy that has played. He's hard to move, and he's played some pretty good football for this Syracuse defensive line. Big third down right here for Stanford. Can't afford to make a mistake trying to pick up this first down.
Daniels heaves it downfield and out of bounds.
And Diggs is letting him know about it, trying to get in the quarterback's head a little bit.
Andre, you talk about McCord's toughness. You heard Fran Brown talk about it. Get a play like that, you can tell that's translated to the fans who've come out on Friday night.
When he went airborne, absolutely. That festered all throughout the entire team. Defensively, trying to match his toughness.
Big punt for Flintoft. Pena signals for a fair catch and makes it inside his own 35-yard line. Syracuse with the ball, down 3. Kyle McCord back out there a minute into quarter number 4.
Kyle McCord's toughness at the end of the interception, trying to make a tackle, gets blocked out of bounds. But what's he do? Come right back, go airborne to get his team right back in this ball game. Defense gets a stop, and they are getting ready to go on the offensive here.
A chance to take the lead. 14:03 to go in regulation. Pena motions. McCord down the sideline, intercepted. Jay Green with the pick, and Stanford takes over in plus territory.
And I mean, he had a receiver or two open in the flat and just ignored LaQuint Allen trying to force the ball. We don't see that much. I have not seen that much this season from Kyle McCord. He's got Allen, who is a sure-handed back out of the backfield, wide open in the flat. Now that one squarely on the shoulders of Kyle McCord.
Second interception thrown by McCord. Roush, the tight end, reattaches. Daniels to Iomanner out of the embrace of Lewis and picks up about 8 on first down.
He's tough in his own right. He took a big-time shot from Elijah Clark, slow to get up, and was right back in the next time Stanford had the football.
He's been through injuries. Missed his entire freshman year with a torn ACL. Got hurt his senior year of high school. Year before that, high school season washed out due to COVID.
What I like about him is that he can move around anywhere and play the position.
Ford. Strong run and a first down for Stanford. They're in field goal range now, but it would not shock me if this turns into 4-down territory as Ford is down.
Foot injury.
Troy Taylor earlier in this half going for it on 4th down from minus territory. Told us he's going to play to win this game. Stanford with a 3-point lead as Ford hobbles off.
Hard to imagine he was playing quarterback. The way he runs the ball, the way he sets blocks, the toughness in which he runs with, man. They enter Chris Davis Jr., who is more the speed back for Stanford.
He's given this defense problems. 7 carries, 79 yards for the freshman Davis. Syracuse showing blitz. Davis the call. Ran into Diggs and stood up, no gain.
They go right back to the same exact play that Ford ran the previous play. Try it with Davis and not fooling Syracuse there. Need a turnover in their own right, this Orange defense.
Ford right back in there. Marcus Brown, a true freshman walk-on into the game as a wide receiver. Tiger Bachmeier hauls it in. Thrown out of bounds by Jaden Bellamy. It's 3rd down for Stanford. And again, field goal keeps it a 1-score game. 3rd down and short with a power running game. I can see them going for it here on 4th.
And it may be 4-down territory the way Troy Taylor is going to roll the dice, so to speak, earlier in the 3rd quarter, going for it backed up inside his 30-yard line.
They bring in the 2 running backs, Irvin with Ford. They've run some quarterback power out of this formation. Daniels this time comes under center. Rolls to his right. He'll throw and find Cedric Irvin, the sophomore from Miami, whose dad had 3,000-yard seasons as a running back for Nick Saban at Michigan State.
Boy, the imagination of Troy Taylor. And you're thinking they're going to go power and run the football with a condensed set, 2 backs, and they've got enough confidence in Irvin as a route runner to get himself open against zone coverage and just kind of turn and give his numbers to Ashton Daniels.
He's got the bloodlines. Michael Irvin is a cousin. From the red zone, Ford bulldozing across the 15, a gain of 5 on the play.
What does he run tough between the tackles. True freshman. As mentioned earlier, he made the transition this year from quarterback to running back, and shares the time or the stage with Irvin. But tonight he's been the main attraction.
Stanford recruits nationally. Ford out of Toms River, New Jersey. Screen pass. CC impacted and dropped by Bellamy.
You forget Bellamy was a starter a year ago. They brought in Barnes Jr., who won the position along with Clarence Lewis on the other side, and Bellamy was kind of getting playing time here and there, and with the injury to Barnes, he had to step up and has played some outstanding football tonight.
3rd and 8. Could a run play be on the table here?
Very much could be when you look at what it leaves you with, and he's not afraid to go for it on 4th down. 8 attempts coming into tonight's game on 4th down.
Daniels will throw. Almost picked by Lewis. He wanted Io Manor, And Clarence Lewis with a diving attempt on the ball.
Any better pass, it would have been 6 points for Io Manor. He underthrows this as he's on the run and being pressured. All of a sudden, Diggs is closing in, but a better pass with touch over the top. And we've seen the hands, we've witnessed the hands of Io Manor in the first quarter.
So Kenny now to make it a 6-point game. He's hit from 38 and 51, 6 for 6 as a place kicker. Make it 7 for 7, 3 for 3 tonight. And Stanford leads by 6 with 9:19 to go. It's still a one-score game. Here because of 2 reasons. He cited the history. You saw some of the iconic names, the legend of 44, Jim Brown, Ernie Davis, Floyd Little. He mentioned guys like Marvin Harrison and Donovan McNabb. They didn't wear 44, but impact players for this program. And then he said with an air of confidence, Kark, he said, and I'm betting on me, and I believe in me.
Yeah, you know, when you sit down with Fran Brown, there's a different level of authenticity with him, right? There's no filter. He is who he is. He's going to speak his mind. And he's betting on himself based on his background. I mean, he's a young man who grew up in Camden, New Jersey, one of the roughest neighborhoods in America. He fought through adversity. He bet on himself every step of the way. Became the #1 recruiter in the country. He was with Kirby Smart and won a national title. He's an elite defensive back coach. This guy is real.
Authentic as we look at tonight's progressive game flow.
It's Cal McCord and the 2 interceptions, the pick 6 by Mitch Lieber. And he comes back, forces one, which you don't really see him do, trying to hit a big play on an out and up when he had his running back, Allen, wide open in the flats.
Safety in the box. The handoff is to Willis, and he's knocked backwards. A loss of 2. And with no run game to speak of tonight, if you're Stanford, can you just pin back your ears at this point?
Not really, because when Willis has been in the game, there have been sparks of a running game. There have been, you know, bits and pieces of one. So you can't really do it yet. But when you get them in long yardage situations behind the down and distance marker like this, you absolutely can pin your ears back.
2nd down, 12 to go. Empty set. 4-man rush. McCord, tough throw, brought in by Pena and brought down by Tristan Sinclair. Good ankle tackle in space by the 6th-year senior and the defensive leader for Stanford.
They can ill afford to lose Jandre Reed, the most experienced guy up front. He's limping around the center, back over the ball.
And lined up over him, Anthony Franklin, who's had a big game for Stanford.
Plenty of time on the play clock.
The blitz. McCord, incomplete. Wanted Hatcher, covered well by Wright. And Syracuse will be forced to punt. And Stanford's going to get the ball back with a chance to make it a 2-score game.
Man, he's busy wrestling with Colin Wright rather than trying to locate the football. And you got to, you know, every receiver in the country, young receivers, you got to think every single time that you line up to run a play and it's a pass play, you're getting the football. And that's how you should approach every play in the passing game.
Stonehouse to punt to Bachmeier. Fair catch. Made at the 20. Less than 8 minutes to go in regulation. Big drive for Stanford as the Cardinal tries to tack on.
Been such a priority for him.
An impressive young man who holds citizenship in Nigeria, the U.S., and Canada, as Justin Barron tackles Davis right at the line of scrimmage. No gain. 2nd and 10. Syracuse defensively needs a stop. Clemson with a field goal makes it a 2-score game and really puts Syracuse in a position where they're driving uphill.
Yeah, Fran Brown needs this defense to really step up. Elijah Robinson, their defensive coordinator, going to dial up something here to get to Ashton Daniels.
Daniels has thrown 2 picks. He's run for 43, thrown for 124. Throws on the run and behind CC. And now this crowd will amp it up on 3rd and 10.
We're just not used to seeing him having accuracy problems. He's just 62% coming into the game. The last game out against Cal Poly, 23 passes, he was 82% in that game. The 2 touchdowns, didn't turn the ball over. But he has missed badly on a couple of throws here late.
They just get the snap off. Time for Daniels. In the pocket. Directing traffic. Heaves it off the hands of Io Manor. Chestnut caught it out of bounds. It's 4th down and 10, and that's a huge 3 and out for Elijah Robinson.
Yeah, it is, and 2 incompletions in a row stop the clock for Syracuse, so they don't have to use any timeouts or even think about it at this point in the game. But no one open for Daniels down the field. Excellent coverage down the field, and then all of a sudden the pass rush getting there a little bit late and getting the ball out of his hands. Syracuse should have some pretty good field position.
Pena waiting at his own 40. Flintoff just got it off. It bounces. Pena fields the grounder. And Syracuse will start at its own 39-yard line. ESPN Plus with some great featured games tomorrow. Virginia, Coastal Carolina at 2. Arkansas State heading to Iowa City. And at 8, Arch Manning makes his first career start. Texas hosting Louisiana Monroe. Manning last week in relief of the injured Quinn Ewers lit up UTSA.
He throws a touchdown pass, then they come back, get the ball again. He runs one for 67 yards. 2 plays, 2 touchdowns.
Now he can throw and pass. There haven't been many dual threat Mannings since Archie.
I don't know that his uncles could ever run like that. You combine their speeds, and they can't get down the field the way Arch does.
Grandpa could.
You think? That fast?
I'm not sure he was that fast.
Did he ever go 67?
There's the blitz. McCord finds Gill. Room to run into Stanford territory, a gain of 18.
A nice job by Cal McCord with the eyes. Zone coverage, you're taking guys, moving them with your eyes, getting them to go where you want them to go. And then he checks it down. They're going through the proper reads and distributing the football. The last interception, trying to force one to Meeks.
McCord north of 300 yards passing. Syracuse only 13 rushing yards.
Matchup with Pena in the slot.
Looking that way. And does Pena hang on? He does, draped by Jay Green. 2nd down after a gain of a couple.
Yeah, safety against Pena. I'm going there every time. They set up guys. It's a nice throw. Low and outside. Only Pena's going to come up with it.
Rondé Gadsden awfully quiet tonight. Only 2 catches, 12 yards, 4 targets. Pena, 10 catches, and he's hit the century mark.
Already outnumbered to the bottom of the screen.
Looking toward Pena. Instead, it's for Gadsden, and Sinclair gets in there for the PBU.
I don't know what's going on with Gadsden tonight. It just doesn't see, just energy doesn't seem like it's there. Ever since the penalty for the late hit that cost him the 15 yards, coaches got on him, and he just can't seem to gather himself.
He normally excels at contested catches. Troy Taylor said earlier this week, even if he's covered, he's open. Pena covered by Green in the slot, bottom of your screen. McCord on the slant off the chest of Meeks.
Here comes a holding penalty against Syracuse. What Troy Taylor does
Holding.
here.
Offense number 72. The penalty is declined.
Well, now what does Jeff Nixon do?
First 10 yards. Repeat third down.
Yeah, you want to give them third down. I mean, fourth and whatever this is, 4th and 7, 4th and 8. They would go keep the offense on the field maybe, but 3rd and a ton. You're obviously giving them another chance at it. Also rolling the dice that defensively you don't come up with a penalty, but they have been disciplined tonight on that side of the ball.
Both teams have all their timeouts. 3rd and 18. Syracuse needs to get to the Stanford 32.
A lot of time, Anish, a lot of time.
McCord on the move. Throws downfield, complete. First down, Darrell Gill.
They elect to go zone, drop deep in those zones that allowed McGill to get down the field and routes to develop down the field. And one of the more accurate passers in the country. You cannot give Kyle McCord that type of time.
Hey, understood why you take the penalty. You don't want to give them 4th and somewhat manageable in an area of the field where they're going to go for it. Syracuse converts. LaQuint Allen somehow stays on his feet. The balance of Baryshnikov for a gain of 9.
Scotty Edwards was there first. Usually a sure tackler on the back end of this Stanford defense, but could not get Allen on the turf. And it turns into 2nd and short in a hurry.
That's why you don't skip the bear crawls.
That's right. I mean, the running back drills, they're doing that on a daily basis pretty much. Transferring the ball from one hand to the other.
On 2nd and 1, back to Allen. First down, Syracuse at the 13 of Stanford.
Jandre Reed, the center, showing some toughness in his own right, kind of limping back to the line of scrimmage, refusing to come out, realizing just how important he is to this Syracuse offense. I think he's a little bit of that quarterback diving over the top rubbed off on him.
2 tight ends into the game, Villari and Maximilian Mang. On the slant, touchdown, Jackson Meeks. And Syracuse can take the lead with the PAT.
Just a slant, and you get the linebackers to bite up. And he gets a great release on an inside move on that slant route. Colin Wright a step or 2 behind, and McCord accurate as usual.
First career touchdown for the Georgia transfer Meeks. The extra point good, and Syracuse has its first lead of the night with 3:13 to go in the 4th.
Let's take a look at this touchdown. It's just a nice little outside setup and then to the slant. It leaves right outside. Look at all the room inside when they decide to go press on the outside. The safety's too high. Lieber. And right, the timing's perfect from McCord to Meeks.
Well, Stanford has been good for some Friday night drama. We saw it in the game last year against Colorado. They were down 29-0 in that game. End up winning in double overtime. Alec Iomanner, 13 for 294, all in the second half in OT. And now Ashton Daniels has his chance. Stanford just needs a field goal to take the lead. They've got all 3 timeouts. 3:13 to go, as you said a little while ago, Andre.
A lot of time.
A lot of time.
Yeah, they've allowed, Stanford's allowed this crowd back into this baby.
Monday Night Football gives us a doubleheader. Jacksonville against 2-0 Buffalo. Josh Allen lost a lot of receivers. He lost the best safety tandem. Milano's hurt, yet the Bills are still 2-0. And then Washington and Cincinnati, Joe Burrow and company, 0-2 to begin the season.
I thought certainly they were going to win the game in Kansas City that day and found a way to give one to the Chiefs. Oh yeah, the crowd is cranked up now.
Play action. Daniels to Roush, one-handed catch. Doesn't get very far. No gain on the play. Second down.
And just back to the line of scrimmage. And it's the pass rush of this Syracuse defense that's harassing Daniels now. Jaquez.
Diggs as a spy. Roush over the middle. Takes a big hit from Cinco Clark. It'll bring up third down. I mentioned both teams have the 3 timeouts. Yeah. This year, you also have the 2-minute timeout.
Stop it a 4th time if you need it. For Stanford. Four down territory, no doubt, for Troy Taylor.
Ford, first down. Ankle tackled by McDonald and still churning all the way to the 43-yard line. Big run there by the freshman Micah Ford. And let's see if Stanford takes this down to the 2-minute timeout or if they call another play.
They're going to try to get one off here, and I would if I'm Troy Taylor.
They do. Daniels throw complete. Io Manor to midfield. And that brings us to the 2-minute timeout. Stanford in its first ACC game, looking for its first conference win in its new league. Down 1, less than 2 minutes to go. Second down, Stanford in Syracuse territory. The Cardinal getting closer to field goal range, and that means if you're Syracuse, Andre, you're probably thinking about your timeouts.
You have to, so that you can put a drive together, or give McCord as much time to put a drive together as you can.
Here comes Ford, and he drives forward. A first down for Stanford at the Syracuse 46. Both teams have all their timeouts, and Stanford just needs a field goal to take the lead.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I would go ahead and huddle and use all of the play clock. And I know what Fran's trying to do is he wants to call them after first down, after he starts calling them after first down once the play is running over.
There's Ford, finds a seam, flag down, 2 in the backfield.
Going to be a hold here.
Holding. Offense for the 55. 10-yard penalty.
Palais, the right guard, is the guilty culprit, and that is huge.
Now this offensive line, much maligned the first couple of weeks, for the most part, has held up well.
He's right in the middle of the formation, working against Watson, the true freshman. He's grabbed a handful of jersey and arm. I think I'd have to take that first time out. And he wants to sync them up with the downs, but you don't have that luxury.
And the clock running after they spotted the ball. Now back in minus territory. Play action. Daniels drives it downfield. Io Manor was open, and Daniels missed him.
I know Troy Taylor wants to be aggressive, but that's now a timeout in the back pocket of Fran Brown on that incomplete pass. And he had Io Manor open, wide open down the field, and if he catches it, it's going to be close to a first down.
Now, if you're Syracuse, you're probably just thinking stop before timeouts.
Stop and a timeout after each one of those stops.
Darn Orange have the lead. Stanford down by 1. There's the blitz. Daniels hit, completes. Io Manor makes his way back near the original line of scrimmage, plus a yard.
You got to call the timeout here.
And Stanford probably needs to call a timeout. And now they do with 40 seconds to go.
Charge timeout. Stanford, the first of the half.
There you go.
It will be 30 seconds. Please set the game clock at 40 seconds. 4-0 on the game clock.
Stanford's trying to drive for the field goal. And just keep in mind, they don't need a touchdown. They just need field goal range.
Stanford last year had a kicker in Joshua Carty, who was a 6th-round draft pick of the Rams. Emmett Kenny, the senior from Fargo, is in his first season as the place kicker. Prior to this year, he had never attempted a field goal in college. He's 7 for 7 this season, 3 for 3 tonight.
Hit one from deep, 51 yards, yeah.
You probably need close to another first down to give him a reasonable chance. 3rd and 9. Middle blitz. Daniels incomplete. It's 4th down. No flag on the play. Ishmael Cece the target.
Chestnut in coverage. A lot of Stanford fans are thinking that he may have committed a penalty there. No, he's just a nice break on the ball. Big down here for Syracuse. Even bigger for Stanford. Got to call the timeout and talk about this, baby.
Stanford, first second of the half. It will be 30 seconds.
So 4th and the ball game. If Stanford is to have any chance, they need a first down. Down to 1 timeout.
Boy, that holding penalty.
Killer.
How big is that right now? Huge.
Well, Andre, you have Io Manor, who can make the contested catch. Daniels is elusive with his feet. What are you trying to do here on 4th down?
Well, I'm not allowing Daniels to stand. You're talking about what Syracuse will do?
What Stanford will do.
Stanford? You're just trying to get Io Manor. That's your playmaker. That's a guy that, regardless of coverage or not, can make plays for you. So I'm trying to formation him. I might move him in terms of motion to get him open or get a matchup that you like. But if I'm Syracuse, they blitzed up the middle the last 2 times. I'm bringing the heat up the middle again on Daniels.
Io Manor lined up at the bottom of your screen. Timeout, Fran Brown.
Timeout. Syracuse, the first of the half. It will be 30 seconds.
Now, both coaches know the importance of this play. If Stanford gets the first down, they're going to give their kicker a chance. If Syracuse gets the stop, it's over.
Well, they want to identify where 13 is. You know, now take a timeout, reset the defense because of it. I'm going to get my best cover man on that side, and I'll get some hands on it. Don't give him a free release. Make it tougher for him with maybe a safety over the top, helping out in coverage. But there is no way I'm giving Io Manor a free release on this play, knowing that that's what Daniels wants, as well as head coach offensive coordinator Troy Taylor.
First meeting between these two. Stanford's.
And they move it. First anticipating.
In the ACC, Syracuse looking to go to 2-0 in conference.
I'm going there right now, Anish. Looking to my right, and I'm going right up here with this matchup.
Ford goes wide. Daniels in the pocket, wants Io Manor. Back shoulder, made the catch. Io Manor down the sideline.
How do you leave Clarence Lewis one-on-one with one of the best receivers in the country? No help over the top, none. It's a middle free safety, and he can't get there to help his corner out.
And this crowd got quiet fast. Daniels dives to the 15.
Now Syracuse has got to start burning timeouts.
Clock running. Down to 5, down to 4. It'll come down to a field goal.
What a play. What a big throw by Daniels.
Third and final of the half. It'll be 30 seconds.
At this point in the game. And then you talked about the kicker for Stanford, Kenny, being perfect on the year. He hadn't had this kind of pressure, though. This is to win it.
But you're indoors. There's no wind. And Daniels got the ball between the hash marks. 3 for 3 tonight.
Still something when you know it's on the line. Butterflies maybe churning in the stomach of the young senior kicker from Fargo.
The senior from Fargo lines it up.
Buckle up. I think Fran's going to spend a time out here, try to ice him.
Charge timeout. Syracuse, their second of the half. It will be 30 seconds.
What a throw and catch from Daniels to Io Manor.
You called it. Everybody knew where the ball
I
was
couldn't
going.
believe they were in that coverage. I mean, that's pre-snap. We talked pre-snap read earlier in the game. That tells me I'm looking the safety right, and I'm going right over to 13. I cannot believe that you lined up this way.
A 34-yarder for the win. And for Stanford's first ACC win. The senior from Fargo.
Got a false start.
False start. Offense number 58. 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
It's just
The true freshman, Khalil House.
Yeah, if you're a Stanford fan, you're hoping House didn't just ice your kicker. Oh, my goodness, just a flinch right there in the middle.
The pit in the stomach gets a little bigger.
Yes, it does.
Now a 39-yarder for the win. Kenny, right down the middle, don't you know? Stanford wins its first game in the ACC. 26-24, the final.
What a drive on the final possession of the game. Clean operation, and it could not be more pure for Kenny.
You can't ice a kicker from Fargo.
No, he's used to the cold. I like it.
And Emmett Kenny delivers 4 for 4 as a place kicker tonight, including the game winner from 39. Stanford goes cross country. First ACC game. They're going from the Salt City back to the farm with a W. 26-24, your final. For Andre Ware and Paul Carcaterra and Matt Austin, I'm Anish Shroff. Top Rank Boxing next.